Welcome to another episode of Breadcast Music Talk. This is me bringing back my Essentials of videos, but with a new name that I'm using, and this name is now The Very Best Of. And if you watched my last video, then you know which band we're talking about, and that's going to be Megadeth. Megadeth is an American thrash metal band that has released 15 studio albums, 5 live albums, 6 compilation albums, 1 EP, 49 singles, 10 video albums, and 44 music videos. Current members are Dave Mustaine, Kiko I don't know how to say his name, Kiko Lario, David Effelson, and Dirk Van Buren. Now, let's go on to the albums. Now, I'd say to listen to all their albums all the way through besides Risk, but, I'll just pick some songs to keep things simple. First up is their 1985 album titled Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. The songs that I'd suggest listening to from this album are Track 2, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, Track 7, Mechanics, and Track 8, These Boots. Next up is their second album from 1986 titled Peace Sells But Who's Buying? Fun fact, this album released the same year as Metallica's Master of Puppets album. The songs I would suggest listening to from this album are Track 1, Wake Up Dead, and Track 3, Peace Sells. Next up is their third album from 1988 titled So Far So Good So What? Another fun fact, this album released the same year as Metallica's And Justice for All album. The songs I'd suggest listening to from this album are Track 2, Set the World Afire, Track 5, 502, and Track 6, In My Darkest Hour. Next up is their fourth album from 1990 titled Rust in Peace. The songs I would suggest listening to from this album are Track 1, Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Track 2, Hangar 18, Track 4, 5 Magics, Track 7, Tornado of Souls, and Track 8, Dawn Patrol. Next up is their fifth album from 1992 titled Countdown to Extinction, and this is probably my favorite Megadeth album out of them all. This is one case where I would suggest that you listen to the entire album all the way through, as it is really just that good. Next up is their sixth album from 1994 titled Euthanasia. Songs I would suggest listening to from this album are Track 1, Reckoning Day, Track 3, Addicted to Chaos, Track 8, Family Tree, and Track 9, Euthanasia. And you could also throw in a Toot La Mode. Next up is their seventh album from 1997 titled Cryptic Writings, and the songs that I suggest listening to from this album are Track 1, Trust, Track 2, Almost Honest, Track 9, Have Cool Will Travel, and Track 10, She-Wolf. Next up is their ninth album from 2001 titled The World Needs a Hero, and the songs that I would suggest listening to from this album are Track 1, Disconnect, Track 2, The World Needs a Hero, Track 5, Burning Bridges, Track 10, Dread and the Fugitive Mind, and Track 12, When. Next up is their 12th album from 2009 titled Endgame. The songs that I would suggest listening to are Track 1, Dialectic Chaos, Track 2, This Day We Fight, Track 3, 44 Minutes, Track 4, 1320, Track 7, Endgame, Track 8, The Hardest Part of Letting Go, Sealed with a Kiss, and Track 9, Head Crusher. Next up is their 13th album from 2011 titled 13. And the songs I would suggest listening to from this album are Track 1, Sudden Death, Track 2, Public Enemy No. 1, Track 4, We the People, and Track 5, Guns, Drugs, and Money. Lastly, we have their 15th album from 2016 titled Dystopia, and this is the second Megadeth album that I would suggest you listen to the entire album, as it's just so damn good. And with that is what I consider to be the very best of Megadeth, until the new album they're working on comes out. That's all I have to say, so if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.